Here we are, day number 3, series number 3, and I'm so excited to see IM.NesTea play. Goody throwing out the GLHF right off the bat. Despite playing random in StarCraft 2, I still feel the Zerg blood in me. Spawning in the top right of Shakura's Plateau, we have arguably the best Zerg in the world, IM.NesTea as the blue Zerg. His opponent, commander of the tanks, in the bottom left, the German player, ESC.GoOdy.
Yeah, and before this game gets too heavily underway, I do want to mention that all the VODs are posted on the Team Liquid YouTube. I mean, the ones from today will take a little bit to get on there, but that is just youtube.com/teamliquidnet. Obviously, there's not a .net in there, so it's just Team Liquid Net on YouTube. Definitely go check it out. There's more people watching this stream right now than are subscribed to that channel, so if you are most likely not subscribed to it, go check it out. They also do have a Twitter, which is constantly updated at twitter.com/teamliquidnet, so it's the same thing. Again, there's no .net in there because it's the end of the URL. So anyways, really quick before this game gets started as well, I have my Twitter open, and there's actually a message that OGSMC just posted, which I find hilarious. I'm just going to read that really quick. It says, "Today, TSL, my gaming mind shock. I think Korean pro gamers are better than foreigner pro gamers, but today I played FX Open and seeing TSL foreigner pro gamers rank upgrade. I need practice." So I'll let you decipher that, but from what I got out of it is even MC, who is one of the best players, if not the best player in the world right now, is like, wow, these foreigners are really making a name for themselves in the TSL.
And Husky, while we see the initial gameplay going on back and forth and the engineering bay blocking the natural for IM.NesTea, why don't you go ahead and let people know where they can find you on YouTube and on Twitter?
Yeah, I am on just youtube.com/HuskyStarcraft, and same thing, twitter.com/HuskyStarcraft. So I know there's a lot of my fans out there watching. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure to tell all your friends, your grandmother, and your boss that, well, don't tell your boss that you're watching because you should be at work, but so far these matches have been crazy. Even MC, who is the best player right now, thinks these matches are crazy. So huge thanks for everyone tuning in. Last time I checked, we're at about 40,000 people. That's basically a stadium of nerds cheering for these players, and I could not be more excited and more honored to be here casting with you, Chill. And yeah, so I don't even know what to say about the TSL. I think it's been probably the most legendary TSL so far, and it's going to be hard to top the last games we've seen already.
And look at what Goody's doing. He's delayed that barracks, getting the engineering bay to block the natural hatchery. He's not getting gas. Clearly going to be throwing down another command center somewhere. It's just a matter of where does he want to drop that. And getting a really, really late orbital. His orbital was actually on 18 as of just a byproduct of having that really late barracks trying to block the natural. So strange build out of Goody, but I have to imagine he's very comfortable with it. We've got the spawning pool finishing for NesTea, beginning that queen production. Bunker going up. This is a fake bunker rush, sending the Marines just in case, but not going to be doing a lot of damage. He is rallying a second Marine. Production tab showing that there's 4 Zerglings on the way. Going to be able to deal with this fairly easily. He may be able to kill a drone, but that's about it. Goody clearly not trying to kill NesTea here, just putting on a little bit of pressure.
And though it does look like he's going to lose that Marine and SCV, taking a lot of hits there, at least the Marine is going to go down. So while he was faking it, he still did lose a unit there. And it's interesting to me that judging by the long spawn distances, Goody's still being aggressive. I mean, he had that engineering bay to delay the expansion, followed up with that canceled bunker there. So NesTea was forced to make a lot of Zerglings here. He actually does have 8 Zerglings already, which is more than you're going to want against a kind of fake rush like that. So as long as Goody can make it home and get back inside the main base and seal up his entrance, he should be just fine. It'll be interesting to me to see exactly how NesTea follows this up, especially considering that Goody does have kind of the old style wall in. His SCV just got barely making it there, gets the wall up in time. His command center is done though, and the orbital command on the way. The positioning of that's really good, so even if the Zerglings scout up the ramp, they're not going to see exactly what's going on.
Right, so now if you're NesTea, you see this old school wall in. You see a lot of vulnerable depots. Maybe you want to follow this up with kind of a mid-game Baneling bust that we've seen kind of make its way back into StarCraft popularity, but that's not going to work against Goody, as he's got 2 factories already on the way. He's got a second orbital command dropping mules in his main base, and he's clearly going to be getting that siege mode to defend against any sort of Baneling bust. We can see NesTea not going for that. He's dropping the quick evolution chamber. He's already begun his creep spread. He's got 2 tumors already on the way, heading towards the middle of the map, and his queens are fairly low on energy, one of them at 1 energy. The other one needs to inject there, dropping it down to 8 energy. So doing fairly well on his mechanics, just keeping on top of everything here in the early game.
I really like the scouting that NesTea did. He moved in with those overlords just a little bit, and if you look at the positioning of the overlords, there's one on the right and one on the left of GoOdy's base. So NesTea knows the exact timing of this, and he hasn't lost that first scouting overlord or anything like that. However, a bunker is going to be going down at the natural of GoOdy, so not a lot of scouting is going to continue there with those Zerglings, although the Hellion is just going to be spawning now. We'll see if he runs this all the way out, or if he's just trying to bait the Zerglings to this bunker, which will force NesTea to give up a little bit of that map control. NesTea, seeing the build order from his opponent, realizes, well, I got to get my third base, so that is going to be on the way, as well as his lair. So he's playing very tech and not relying on a huge army right now. Although, to be honest, he does have several Zerglings. He does have 21 on the field, so any push that comes his way, he will be prepared for the next couple of minutes.
You know, this response is perfect from NesTea. I can't emphasize how well he's playing this, because, you know, you see this bunkered up expansion, you get Speedlings out to control any potential harassment in the form of this Hellion, and you take your third base before lair. I think this is going to become kind of the future of Zerg. You're going to see the macro up, and here go a few Zerglings trying to surround this bunker. I'm not sure I like this. I was loving NesTea's play, but this seems a little greedy. Moving forward, now trying to deal with the Marines, and he just basically donated all those Zerglings for nothing. The wall is even up. Oh my god, the wall was even up blocking the main base, so all that map control that NesTea used to have, he's now just giving it away for naught.
That was a very peculiar attack, because if nothing else, he could have ran past, forced the Marines out of the bunker, which is where you can engage them near the SCVs on the left side. So I'm not sure why he was so hellbent on getting that bunker destroyed, but it may cost him the longer this game goes on, especially since he is going to be transitioning into Banelings, so he absolutely has to make sure that he remakes those Zerglings no matter what. And we also do have a Spire on the way as well. Nothing too unorthodox in that Baneling Mutalisk Zergling is something that Koreans love to do, so I think that's what we can expect as this game continues. And there's no drones at that third base there. After losing those units, he definitely has to just make sure he remakes some of them. And there is an Overseer being made in the bottom near GoOdy's base there, so he'll probably use that for scouting, able to keep it alive, and he will scout, I think, these two factories to see exactly what's headed his way, which is the almighty Thor.
Yeah, GoOdy, if you go ahead and throw up GoOdy's vision, you can see that he hasn't seen anything in minutes. Now trying to move out with some Hellions to get a bit of scouting, but he's one of those players that really focuses on timing. You can see that he's put up these turrets just in anticipation of any quick Mutalisks that could have come. Now Zergling's trying to get a full surround on the Hellions. Are running back. Going to eat a lot of shots out of these two tanks, and now that'll leave the Hellions free to continue to scout. But as I was saying, getting the Thors and getting the turrets up just in case those mutas come out quickly. Clearly experience-based play here out of GoOdy, and that's what you should expect from someone who's played just a ridiculous amount of tournament games.
Yeah, the tournament mentality is a huge factor in this. A lot of people don't realize when you're playing ladder, there's really no pressure because you don't lose anything. If you lose a game in the TSL, it could cost you thousands of dollars. So a lot of players do crack under the pressure, and it looks like the Overseer is going to see exactly what's going on. This Overseer may get taken out, is going to delay the production on that one factory of any potential Thors coming out of there. It's also going to scout the other two factories, the armory upgrade on the way, as well as the starport. So the Overseer did get taken out, but it saw everything that it needed to there. But again, GoOdy looks like he's going to be playing this defensive style. Just looking at the production tab, he has the Infernal Pre-Igniter on the way, as well as the Thor attack level 2, well, mech attack level 2. And that's really important when you're doing a mech push to have heavy upgrades, because you cannot replenish the army as quickly as, say, a Marine Marauder.
We've got the first few mutas out for NesTea. He's got 4 gathered at the southern area, only 4 out on the map yet. Getting +1 on that Spire for his air weapons. Meanwhile, the Evolution Chamber continuing with upgrades. He's got +2 melee queued in there. Under that is Ground Carapace level 1. Just trying to harass with these mutas a little bit, running into a Viking, which is going to try to kite around. No, Viking actually going to get caught. He's not looking at the Viking. Viking taken out. You want to keep that Viking alive, A, to kite, B, to scout. So losing that, not the best thing that GoOdy's ever done. He's got a tech lab added onto his starport. I'm going to be interested to see what he makes out of there. If he's going to possibly transition into Ravens to deal with mass mutas. I don't know. There's a lot of things that can be done when you're playing this mech-based, slow-pushing style to deal with mutas that you don't see in the standard Marine tank style.
Now, surprisingly enough, GoOdy is keeping up in the supply count. It is 122. He actually has a slight advantage, which is not something you would expect to see at about 13 minutes in a Terran versus Zerg. Although, if you do look at the units lost tab, there is 40 units lost for NesTea. I mean, the majority of those are Zerglings, but it really messes up your game when you lose that many Zerglings in the early game. And just looking at the production tab, he is making a lot of drones. 13 drones right now, so he is definitely droning up, working on upgrades. And I'm taking a look at his units tab, and he just has 7 Mutalisks, which aren't even being active. They're just sitting out here outside the natural. So, I mean, this is a pretty good spot for Goody to move out, and he's gonna at least get one big attack here. That's kind of how the mech style of play he uses works, is that you are almost guaranteed one big attack, and it looks like that may be commencing here any moment. He has SCVs already brought off the line. You can set those to auto repair, which will heal everything in your army when you're going this mech style. So we'll see if NesTea is going to react in time. Thankfully for him, those drones are already made, so now he can start making the army he needs to hold this off.
Right, NesTea's played it very well. He hasn't made enough units. He's made a few mutas just to harass. We can see they're harassing the expansion, actually stopping turret production. But Goody doesn't even care. He's just moving out. Is he actually going to lose that orbital? We'll keep an eye on it as Goody continues to press. Sick creep spread as he scans forward, trying to take out this creep tumor. Is going to take out 2 spine crawlers as he continues to push forward. NesTea going to react with a lot of roaches and a lot of banelings. Oh my god. It's like 27 banelings right there. And this is basically, NesTea has to defend this. This is Goody's one push. He's sieging up, pressing forward. He's got a Raven out, actually, to detect, and NesTea looks like he's going to give it up a little bit, running back with his roaches, but here he goes, pressing forward with the Banelings, trying to catch the Marines, trying to catch the Hellions. He runs into the Thor wall, and there's a lot of siege tanks back there. I don't know if NesTea should press his attack, but he's trying to take out the Thors, trying to flank with the Mutas. The Thors would do better to attack the Roaches. Roach flank coming in. It looks like NesTea may indeed break through. He's got to get through these 3 Thors to the back tanks. It looks like indeed he's done it, taking out 1 tank, 2 tanks, and there's only 2 tanks remaining. You know, Goody did a lot of damage there, but the supply is 150 for NesTea, 100 for Goody.
Yeah, the absolute problem is replenishing this, the amount of units that he just lost there, especially mech style play, is very difficult to deal with. He is doing some drone harassment on the right side, although I don't think it's going to be enough considering how much of an attack he committed to there. So now, once again, Goody has to fall back and defend. Now, the problem is that his third base is going to be fairly exposed, and so that's going to be difficult to defend. He's actually dropping mules there, 4 mules at that expansion, which is a slight risk. A couple random mutas flying to their death at the entrance of Goody's base. But for now, is NesTea going to commit here and try and press his advantage and just win the game, or is he going to expand again? You can see he does already have that 4 base, and the +2 attack, though, did finish right before that attack for Goody. And I really like that Raven play. It looks like he kept the Raven alive, just spotting for those Baneling landmines, which can be so devastating, as it looks like NesTea going to be teching up here. He's just continued to be researching everything in the book.
Yeah, NesTea taking a 5th base. He's actually mining out of the bottom right expansion. Got to clean up at all his bases, injecting larva. I think Goody, you know, he went with this one timing. It doesn't work. I feel like his only out at this point is building up to 200, building up to +3, maybe +2 armor, and then attacking with that army. If he pushes before that, you know, NesTea is just going to have a superior economy. If we bring up the income tab, yeah, Goody just dropped a bunch of mules, so that's why it's skewing. But as soon as all those mules fade away like they are now, you're going to be left with the true income, which shows NesTea largely in the lead at a same amount of harvesters, but having more bases and just having basically better potential here, complete map control. I really hope we don't see Goody push out anytime before 200.
Yeah, absolutely. With the mech style of play, like I was saying before, you get one good push, and then if that doesn't work, a lot of times you can turtle back up to that 200. So I think that's exactly what we're going to see, Chill, like you said. But for now, NesTea is maxed. So it's got to be up to him to try and make something happen here, because right now, I mean, this is just allowing Goody to get closer and closer to that 200 mark. So is NesTea going to utilize attacking through the rocks in the backside, or is he going to try and use a Nidus Worm, or just straight up beef his way to a straight-on victory? Now, he is getting the Roach upgrade. It just finished. You can see burrowed roaches in the center of the map moving out, and he will want to keep these alive. I don't know if he's actually going to attack with these or not. If he moves just an inch to the left more, though, he is going to get spotted by those missile turrets. So this is a very tense moment. He's trying to run all these roaches down here. There is only one armor upgrade, and it looks like they're going to run right into the missile turrets, being a little indecisive here, moving his roaches back and forth, just donating those to Goody. This may actually prompt him to push out, because he just killed every single roach there. Actually, a couple of them survived, but doing massive amounts of damage. However, there is a greater spire on the way, and so Goody may try and do damage here before those broodlords are on the field. That is very peculiar that NesTea just gave away that many roaches.
You know, the potential was that he wanted to free up supply, but oh no, because here we go again, a bunch of Banelings and Zerglings rolling on in, trying to deal with the mech army. Of course, Banelings doing terrible against every mech unit, trying to take out their Hellions, just missing the main-earning SCVs, and a lot of donation going on there. Yet again, 170 supply for Goody, 115 for NesTea. Never mind, 157 as he begins to use up all that larva. There's over 24 larvae at his natural between the two hatcheries. Just ridiculous. He's pumping out a bunch of corruptors. There's 9 corruptors on the field as that Greater Spire begins to complete. And I think he just wanted to do as much damage as he could while he tries to transition into Broodlords. The problem is, did he donate too many units? And is he going to get hit in this transition over to Broodlords?
I just saw 88 Zerglings being produced at once, which it's got to come down to, can he get this round, or will the Hellions kill them all? The Zerglings may just run by through the center of the map there, doing a mad dash to the far left to try and counterattack, possibly intercepting the reinforcements. At the same time, though, GoOdy is going to be pushing to the right side. The Broodlord should be on the way here fairly soon. Yes, there's 9 Broodlords being morphed in on the far right side, kind of hidden there. Don't know if GoOdy's going to realize that there's so many, and the Zerglings are harassing the expansion here. Both players, though, could very well lose their natural. There is 2 hatcheries here, which would be huge if both those got taken out. The SCV is trying to repair as quickly as possible. Even the Queens healing each other to hold on just as long as possible. Every second that goes by, though, the Broodlords are getting closer and closer to being completed. The Zerglings are now inside the main base of GoOdy. Looks like he'll hold there, but can he actually hold against all these Broodlords? That is so many Broodlords. I believe he has 9 in this army, and Mech is not good against Broodlords. There's not a single Viking in the air that I can see, so it looks like NesTea will hold here, but he did lose a lot of tech, and he also lost his Greater Spire as well as both hatcheries there. GoOdy forced to back out. Wow.
Yeah, GoOdy doing the right thing here, trying to get back to his main base, but getting cut off by a few Zerglings, which are making it annoying. He could stop to kill them, but that means he's going to take a few extra Broodlord hits, which you really do not want. Yeah, his army getting cut in half here. You know, I've played the mech style against Zerg quite a bit, and the thing that kills me every time, you can live almost every attack, but if you miss the transition to Vikings to deal with the Broodlords, then you're as good as dead. You can't really deal with them with doors. It just doesn't work. And look at this. GoOdy sieging tanks at the northern Zelnaga, raining down terror on that hatchery. I don't think he's going to be able to kill it, but a nice move there. Got a few kills on those tanks. More than a few, 18 and 15 a piece on those tanks, but Broodlords coming in. And what does GoOdy have to deal with these Broodlords? It looks like he's got 5 Vikings queued up into 1 starport. He's making a bunch of pillars, but it's just not going to work. He's got a bunch of Hellions moving into the bottom right, trying to take out all the drones there. Very nice, but I really just feel it's too little too late.
Yeah, the problem here is that he actually needs to deal with those Broodlords. That's the main thing. He does have 1 Viking here who cannot pull that fire finger fast enough to kill these options. It's just 1 Viking versus all these Broodlords. There is no anti-air support here for NesTea, so can he actually get out enough Viking to destroy these? The second Viking arriving just now needs to focus fire them down as quickly as possible, but NesTea is going to be able to just constantly stream units here. Keep an eye on the minimap of all the reinforcements that are going to be streaming down here, and now GoOdy is backed into a corner on the left side. The Roaches are going to show up to reinforce this, and it looks like it will be enough to clean this out. The Roaches just need to kill the Thors, and the Broodlords can do the rest here, and it looks like GoOdy will end up losing this army. The army sizes are 161 to 100, and now NesTea is going to be marching into the main here. I think that GoOdy may not have done enough damage at all with that attack, because he only killed the 1 base, and if you look at the minimap, how many bases does NesTea have? I can't even count that high, but it is a lot, and this is looking really good for NesTea right now.
Yeah, I think he's just wrapping it up now as he's in the main base of GoOdy, able to cut off reinforcements. Once you lose that siege position in TVZ with a mech style play, it's very difficult to get back. You can see the Vikings landing, trying to just soak up damage while the tanks deal the damage, but just not enough. And NesTea having a very, very strong response as expected, and there's the GG out of GoOdy. NesTea going up 1-0 against the mechanical style of GoOdy. I want to emphasize how well NesTea played that, really focusing on the drones in the early game, taking the 3rd base before lair, breaking the first push, and then taking the map. I mean, look, he's even got a hatchery at the top left on GoOdy's side of the map. So very sick response by NesTea. After GoOdy got broken with that first push, it was really difficult for him to come back if he wasn't able to transition into Vikings quick enough, which he wasn't because he wanted to hit that pre-Broodlord timing attack.
Yeah, and NesTea, you mentioned played well. He played good since the very beginning of that game and just followed it through. We've actually seen phenomenal play here in just the round of 32 of the TSL. I mean, players are, to me, it feels like the finals multiple times that we're witnessing here. Great plays. We haven't seen any huge mistakes, I would say, in really any of the games today. And so GoOdy, while he wasn't able to pull that off, he did make NesTea a little bit nervous there. and then he was able to just barely be saved by those Broodlords. But both players playing really good, so I think in game number 2, Goody does still stand, I would say, a 50-50 chance of winning this game just because of how well he played in that last game. The problem is, though, is when you go a build like Mech and it completely doesn't work the first time, you really start to question on if it's something that can work in the second game. As with something like Marine and Marauder, that tends to be a good build that if it doesn't work the first time, doesn't mean it's not going to work the second time. Curious to see if Goody sticks with the mech here on Xel'Naga Caverns for Game 2, or if he is going to transition into more of a standard style of play. And he was also fairly aggressive in the opener that he did. I was kind of surprised by that, judging by how big of a map it was, even though it was more of a fake out and stuff like that. So we'll see if he has what it takes in game number 2 against NesTea. So pretty good showing in game 1.
Yeah, and apparently Control D is the hotkey to disconnect from TeamSpeak, so I'm just throwing it out there. You don't want to be pressing that. Game number 2, going to be on Xel'Naga Caverns. I feel this is a really strong mech-style map. You can take that gold, really entrench your position there. From there, very easy to push to your Zerg opponent's gold base, and it's very easy to kind of spread your wings, take your 3rd and 4th base under there. I always feel extremely comfortable TVZ playing mech on this map. So I think if Goody was going to get it done, it would be on Xel'Naga Caverns here in game number 2.
All right, so after game number 1, again, I don't know what to happen. I honestly went into this thinking NesTea's going to have no problem, but Goody did give him a run for his money, so unless there's anything else you want to say, Chill, I think we're going to go ahead, play a quick commercial here, and then get right back into the nitty-gritty of this series. And I just want to emphasize, Goody played so good that game, I wouldn't be super surprised if it was another epic close game here on Xel'Naga Caverns. So that's all I've got. Chill, if you don't have anything else to say, just take us away to the commercial, because I think everyone wants to see it.
Yeah, no objections. I never see people in IRC saying, I wish they would just talk longer. So we're going to cut it here, go on to game number 2 after this short commercial break. Don't go anywhere.